Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is Bid Time Return by Richard Matheson. Now, Bid Time Return was published in 1975, and this book was made into the movie Somewhere in Time in 1980. Now, ever since the 1980 adaptation of this book, Somewhere in Time, most copies of the book have been reprinted under the title of the movie, and my copy of the book is also printed under the title Somewhere in Time. But even though my copy of the book is under the title Somewhere in Time, I wanted to refer to the book under its original title. Now, Richard Matheson is the author of books like I Am Legend and What Dreams May Come and Hell House, and he also wrote many episodes of the original Twilight Zone series, and he wrote one or two episodes of the original Star Trek series. Now, I'm a huge Richard Matheson fan. I'm a huge fan of his short stories, and I'm especially a fan of his novels I Am Legend and What Dreams May Come. Both of those books are actually on my list of my top 5 favorite books of all time, and there are actually quite a few similarities between this novel and What Dreams May Come. Now, Richard Matheson wrote What Dreams May Come a little bit after this, but I would actually argue that What Dreams May Come was kind of a spiritual sequel to this novel. Now, I do like What Dreams May Come better. As I said, What Dreams May Come is one of my top 5 favorite books of all time. Now, both this and What Dreams May Come are love stories. What Dreams May Come is about a love that transcends death. This book is about a love that transcends time. Now, the plot of the story is it's set in the year 1971, and it follows this writer for television named Richard Collier, I hope I'm saying his last name right, who, in the beginning of the novel, is diagnosed with a brain tumor, so he pretty much knows that he's going to die. So he ends up traveling to all these different places in the state of California, which is where this novel takes place. And almost by accident, he finds this hotel, and while he's staying at this hotel, he finds this picture of this actress who acted in a play that was held at the hotel back in the year 1896, and he absolutely falls in love with this actress who has been dead for years. And in the novel, he actually travels back in time to the year 1896 so he can be with this woman. Now, Bid Time Return, a.k.a. Somewhere in Time, was an excellent novel. I can't say I like it as much as some of Richard Matheson's other works like I Am Legend and What Dreams May Come, but I still think this was a very good book, and I highly recommend it if you haven't read it already. Now, as I said before, this book is actually very similar to Richard Matheson's novel, What Dreams May Come, so if you liked What Dreams May Come, then I think you might also really like this book as well. Now, the book is a love story, and I know love stories are not everybody's cup of tea. I personally don't mind love stories at all, and as a love story, I thought this book was, I don't want to say believable, but I would say it was believable in terms of, in context of what was going on in the story. And as a love story, I actually found this book to be deeply moving and also genuinely heartbreaking as well. The book is also a really good time travel story as well. Now, the way that the main character travels back in time in this novel is actually really interesting. The way he does it is through hypnosis, which might sound really weird, but it is explained in a way that kind of makes sense in the novel. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this book that is kind of left open to the reader's interpretation, especially at the end of the novel. But once again, I definitely recommend Bid Time Return, a.k.a. Somewhere in Time. It's a great love story, and it's a really good time travel novel as well. And it's also just a very well-written novel, which isn't surprising because Richard Matheson was a really good writer when he was alive. I mean, Richard Matheson, he was actually a huge influence on Stephen King. Like, Stephen King has actually said that Richard Matheson is probably the writer who influenced him most as an author. Now, Richard Matheson actually based the character of Elise McKenna, who is the woman that the main character of this novel travels back in time to be with. He actually based her on a real actress from around the time that the main character travels back to, named Maude Adams, and apparently a lot of the details of Elise McKenna's life in this novel were actually based on the life of this actress. Also, the main character of this book, Richard Collier, I think was definitely supposed to be based on Richard Matheson himself. Like, I definitely think the character was supposed to be somewhat autobiographical in a way. At least semi-autobiographical, because, of course, Richard Matheson did not actually have a brain tumor like the main character of this book has, but I would say that the character is definitely loosely based on Matheson himself. Now, as I said earlier in this review, this book was made into the 1980 film Somewhere in Time. Now, I still have not yet seen the movie Somewhere in Time. I heard that it's actually quite different from the book, or at least it does change a few things from the book, but I still have to see the movie though, but I know the movie has Christopher Reeve in it. So yeah, that was my review on Bid Time Return, a.k.a. Somewhere in Time, by Richard Matheson, and bye.